Welcome to another Something to Compare To channel. I'm your host, Alexander Blucher. We're about to get into episode 2, Ageless Philosophy, and I'm the speaker, all right, Alexander Blucher. Today we're going to cover definition, and what I put here for the terms for the definition is banknote, money in circulation, supply and demand, all right, and we're going to get into some understanding, which are the talking points, and lastly, the example here, the vision. I got a few clips at the end where it's going to be saying what is money, going over what is money, and the intro of supply and demand, and another small bonus clip, sell me this pen. Banknote, a piece of money constituting a central bank's promissory note to pay a stated sum to the bearer on demand. And from my understanding, bearer is a person, okay? Definition: money, a current medium of exchange in the form of coins and banknotes. Coins and banknotes collectively. Another definition say here, sums of money, the assets, property, and resources owned by someone or something, wealth. Definition of money in circulation refers to the total amount of money available within a society for transaction and economic activities, which plays a crucial role in influencing social power dynamics and economic interactions among individuals. Definition of supply and demand. Supply refers to market ability to produce a good or service, whereas demand refers to market's desire to produce the good or service. Supply and demand is often considered to be a fundamental concept within economics and is primarily used to describe the price and availability of commodities. Understanding, establishing talking points of definition. So we have here today the banknote, money in circulation, and supply and demand, right? We're going to start off with banknote. From my understanding, the banknote started back when people wasn't sure what to do with gold, right? So instead of walking around with gold and paying for goods and services with gold, you set up a bank institute and bring in this gold, and then they'll write out, or they'll print out, I should say, a bank note, which will be considered a $1 bill, $2 bill, $5 bill, $10 bill, $20 bill, and $100 bill. So the bank note, from my understanding, is just a walking contract without walking with so much papers or gold. Here, they go print out of money that you could put in your wallet, right? Or on a debit card, right? And go ahead and spend it, right? So from my understanding, once again, the banknote is like a walking promissory note to just, without signing contracts all the time, here goes the money, this dollar bill or $100 bill, here you go, and there's an exchange of goods, right? Now that almost, or it tallies with money, which is the next step here. Money now, if we're dealing with coins, from the pennies, 5 cent, 10 cent, 25 cents is the top, right? So going with the money and the banknote, which is the dollar bills, the money is a sum of money. Could be, once again, a $2,000, and you're paying for a good or service, right? So I brought it up, banknote and money, into today's understanding because I think I want myself and people to know the difference, right? And kind of understanding how money was intellectually created, right? So now we have here money in circulation. from my understanding, is that if you already have the money, where are you going to spend it on, and with who? It sounds very straightforward, right? And it sounds very plain. But if we don't know where our money is going to, like the previous video in episode 1, could potentially become a parasite. All right, which I'll probably bring up that definition on another episode, or you could look up the definition of what that means when James Earl Jones was mentioning about the whole parasite situation in the video clip on episode 1, right? So money in circulation. How does money circulate? If I'm going to a particular barbershop and I'm paying for my hair to get cut, where's that money going into his probably home bills, which is okay, but his equipment, where's that money going into the clippers, right? And the equipment, who's the labor behind those putting the equipment together. So money does travel, as you can see. So that's my talking point on money in circulation. If you have a better understanding, please leave a comment on it. But that's my understanding of it, right? Supply and demand. Very interesting when it comes to supply and demand. Every time I hear the word supply, I feel like if you have for something to be sold to the public and there's no one buying, you have supply and no demand. And that's what we're going to talk about on demand here. Demand now is like, okay, what does the public want? And there's no supply, right? So if there's a demand and no one is, there's no goods or services for the demand, now is like, can someone be able to create a business for that, for the goods or services? So that is the best way I could be able to explain these talking points here today, which is the banknote, money in circulation, supply and demand. It sounds pretty cliche and it sounds pretty dumbed down, to be honest with you, because it's very black and white. Some things in life is very black and white and it's very simple. It's just, I think there's been a lot of confusion on what's really all this all about. And I'm speaking very vague. I'm not saying anything specific. It's just when we come back to the basics of definitions and understanding one's point of view and perspective, it's like, oh, okay, it's not as complicated as someone will make it to be. All right. So yeah, that was the whole freestyle and speech there, subjective speech. Let's see what's next here. We have here now, money. What is money? Intro to supply and demand. I have a picture here of Deion Sanders. Is a throwback picture. And I guess before I get into the bulletin points here, just seeing him at a younger age on the phone, like he's on a business call, or it definitely doesn't look like he's on the phone with his mother. He looked like he's on the phone, seriously trying to definitely talk to whoever's on the phone. Exactly. And his swag from back then to now, he's still doing a phenomenal job on his swag here in America. So I think Deion Sanders is doing a tremendous job leading in any community he's in. He has that kind of leadership role going for himself. So we have here that I mentioned that I would be showing 2 short video clips, less than 7 minutes. All right, so the video is probably going to break down a little bit more than what I'm saying right now live. What is money? And hopefully you could be able to see and understand where your money is coming from and where it's going. All right. Introduction to supply and demand. Now this clip here used some older folks. Okay, so that doesn't mean whoever's watching this video is old and everything else. It's just that's what they choose to use. All right, but the concept behind it What is the true concept behind the supply and demand, the introduction video? Okay. And then I threw on a bonus clip here, which is sell me this pen. If you don't understand the concept of sell me this pen, just do a little research on your own time. I'll bring it up on episode 3 on sell me the pen and my talking points on sell me the pen. If you already know about it, hey, feel free to share your opinion in the comments. You know, it helps somebody out or yourself when it comes to like, hey, I understand what that means, right? And I'll leave you guys with this question here. Are there any shared principles, morals, boundaries, commandments, or laws that bring us together or set us apart? Once again, there's no gaslighting here, a genuine question to ask. I ask that question one more time. Are there any shared principles, morals, boundaries, commandments, or laws that bring us together or set us apart? All right. So with that, we have here, I want to say thank you. Thank you for listening. I'm the speaker, Alexander Blucher. This is my contact number here. My email here, you could send me an email. And my website, alexander-blucher.com. Thank you for listening. Be sure to hit that subscribe button if you found this information very valuable. Hit the like button if you just passing by, or you just want to just show some love. Hit the like button. I really appreciate that. Okay, until then, you guys have a great one. Take care.
What is money? In previous videos, we've taken the ordinary meaning of money for granted. But now we want to get a better understanding of money, banking, and central banking. And to do that, we need to be more precise about what money is and how we measure the supply of money. Economists typically define money as a widely accepted means of payment. Basically, money is anything that can be easily used to buy goods and services. Now, it's clear from this definition that currency, paper bills and coins, they're definitely money. Most of your payments, however, are probably made by writing a check or using a debit card, both of which transfer funds from your bank account to the seller's bank account. Checking accounts, therefore, are also considered to be money. What about savings accounts? Well, now it gets a little bit tricky. Technically, you can't use the funds in a savings account to buy goods and services directly. But in practice, it's just so easy to move funds from a savings account to a checking account that we often also define savings accounts to be money. For the same reasons, we often also define funds in a money market mutual fund to be money. What about jewelry? Is jewelry money? What about a watch or a comic book? Comic books aren't a widely used means of payment, but you could sell a comic book at your local pawn shop and use the proceeds to buy goods and services. So is a comic book money? Probably not. Unlike moving funds from a savings account to a checking account, selling a comic book, it takes quite a bit of work, and you never know exactly how much you're going to get. So we don't consider comic books to be money. The basic idea then is this. We count as money any asset that's a widely used means of payment, or any asset that can be easily converted into a widely used means of payment with little loss in value. What is and isn't money, however, it's not written in stone. There could be judgment calls. As a result, economists have defined several different measures of the supply of money. The most important of these are the monetary base and the cleverly named M1 and M2. The monetary base is defined as currency plus reserve deposits, deposits held by banks and other institutions in their accounts at the central bank, the Federal Reserve. You may not have heard of reserve deposits, but they're basically the checking accounts that banks use to pay one another. Since so many payments require that funds move from bank to bank, reserve deposits are a very important part of the financial system. M1 is defined as currency plus checkable deposits. M2 includes M1, plus savings deposits, money market mutual funds, and small time deposits. Now, there are other definitions of the money supply, but these are the ones which are most commonly used. The monetary base is important because, as we'll see in future videos, the Fed has the most direct control over the monetary base. However, in order to have profound effects on aggregate demand in the economy, the Fed must also influence the bigger definitions, M1 and M2. And in the next few videos, we'll learn about the tools that the Fed uses to try to control the money supply and aggregate demand. But first, we need to understand more about how banks can also influence the supply of money through fractional reserve banking and the money multiplier.
How much are you willing to pay to get your hands on that new video game system? What would you do if the prices at your favorite pizza shop increased? Every day, people ask questions like these relating to the concepts of supply and demand. Demand is the desire consumers have for a good or service. The more people who want a good or service, the higher the demand for it. Supply is the total amount of a good or service available for consumption. The higher the amount of a good or service produced and made available to consumers, the larger the supply of it will be. Supply and demand have a big impact on the prices of products and services. Consider what happens with bananas. Now, there are few bananas on the shelves, but many people are waiting to purchase them. The demand for bananas is higher than the supply of bananas because there are more people wanting them than there are bananas available at the market. Knowing this, the banana producer may increase the price of the bananas because they know that with the higher demand, many consumers are willing to pay more to get what they want. Some consumers will decide to leave without purchasing bananas because they aren't willing to pay the higher price. What would happen if we added another producer to the situation so that there are two banana sellers? The demand for bananas would be lower than the supply because there would be more bananas available than consumers want. The banana producers may decrease the price of the bananas to entice more consumers to buy their product, thus increasing the demand for bananas. Understanding supply and demand is key to understanding our own purchasing behavior, as well as the way business works.
Sell me this pen.
It's a amazing pen. For professionals.
Sell me this pen.
Well, it's a nice pen. You can use the pen to write down thoughts from your life so you can remember.
Sell me this pen.
Well, this pen works, and I personally love this pen.